The Sony FX3 is the most versatile cinema camera of 2022. Scratch that. It's the most versatile cinema/video camera of 2022, and I mean that in a good way. But before I get into that, let's get into some camera context. So over the past few years, a lot of great cameras have come out. Features have constantly been improving while also managing to get lighter and smaller. But before the FX3, we were still forced to pick and choose what features we need and what features we would reluctantly have to miss out on. For example, if you went with Panasonic, specifically the GH5, you get 10-bit codecs, a flip-out screen, 4K 60, and great IBIS. But the camera doesn't have the best low-light capabilities or the best autofocus. If we went Sony, specifically the A7 III for example, you get great autofocus and great low light, but you get a confusing menu system and colors were kind of weird on it still just because of the 8-bit codecs. If you go Canon, you get an expensive portable heater, and if you go Blackmagic, you go Blackmagic. Now the point in me mentioning the past was because before the FX3 we really were forced to lose out on features that could really benefit us as filmmakers, and specifically solo and run and gun filmmakers like myself. But now with the FX3 we're given all the features we've been wanting packed into one small little camera. So first, let's look at this as a cinema camera. Now the image quality that comes from the FX3 is amazing. You get solid 10-bit codecs, great colors, great dynamic range, up to 4K 120. So you really can't complain in terms of image quality. It really gives you everything you need, and it literally will go toe-to-toe with the best cinema cameras on the market right now. And not to mention its insane low light capabilities, which is something that not all cinema cameras have. If you are a documentary filmmaker, you can push it past ISO 12800 and still get a decent image. And it has a nice rectangular build with 1/4-20s all around the camera, so you can easily mount a cage nice and secure. Instead of typically how one bolt where you'd have to rig like the Sony A7S III, they give you an extra bolt on the side. It's such a small feature for it to have the 1/4-20s, but it gets rid of that play that can come with only one mount on the bottom, so I really appreciate that. And compared to the A7 III, they stripped all the photocentric buttons and gears that I really wouldn't have used, so that simplicity makes it really nice and more functional when shooting video. And it does come with some XLRs included through the top handle, but personally I just haven't used it because I need to buy a spacer for my Rode VideoMic NTG, and I also just don't like how clunky it is, and I don't feel like it was made in mind to have an external monitor on top. But if you do need XLRs, it does have them. The only thing that this camera doesn't have right out the box as a cinema camera is SDI ports and timecode. So if you are a filmmaker that works on bigger sets with multiple cameras, then you might need timecode, but both of those are features that I personally don't need, so it doesn't really affect me. So now let's look at this as a video camera. So while this camera is a beast for anything related to narrative, commercial, mini doc, music videos, you can also look at this as a YouTube camera and a vlogging camera just because it does have great autofocus and it is so compact and small when you strip it down. And the size and ability just to be so travel friendly and compact really opens this camera up to a lot more types of videos that I wouldn't typically want to bring a Red Komodo or a Blackmagic or a C70 on. I can take this anywhere with me and I can just shoot for fun. Kind of go back to the way I used to shoot, which was just with the body and lens. So for example, I took it hiking with my girlfriend's dad and it was really fun. I didn't feel like it was weighing me down or anything. And a couple weeks ago, I actually went full dad cam, and I actually took it to my girlfriend's nursing ceremony. This was just a really cool milestone for her as a nursing student, and it looks like any other hobbyist DSLR or mirrorless camera, so nobody questioned me, nobody looked at me funny. So I was able just to document that moment. And I think that's why this camera stands out more, just because I can do fun things and document moments, but I can also get my paid shoots in and know that this camera will give me everything I want and need. And now on to what I don't like. While this camera comes near perfect, truly near perfect, I do have some small nitpicks. So the first nitpick is that I do wish it did have a slightly bigger LCD screen, just because it would make running it without an external monitor just a bit more pleasant. And I do wish that they had false color and the ability to import LUTs like the Blackmagics, just to be able to see a closer estimate of what the image will look like when I'm editing it. And I also wish the top handle was designed a bit differently because I would love to use it, but it's just so, yeah, maybe my opinion will change, but so far it's not what I want it to be. So yeah. And one major bummer is that this is a defective model, so I'm actually gonna have to send it in for repair next week. And the way I learned it was that whenever I shoot with Mike, he uses a Rode Wireless Go, so we'll connect the receiver directly into camera. We never had any issues on his A7 III, but the first shoot I had with my FX3, I was picking up a really bad static noise, and I thought it was the cable, so I switched it, and I was still getting that static noise. So he actually had to just put the receiver in his pocket and sync the audio later in post, which isn't a big problem, but I remembered. I had watched a video from Chris Brockhurst about a couple months before I got the FX3, and he was describing that same exact problem. Because of that, I'm going to be sending this camera in for repair, but it's not a problem with the actual camera, it's just a problem with the manufacturing. In conclusion, this camera really can be anything you need it to be. This camera is a cinema camera. This camera is a video camera, a vlogging camera, a YouTube camera. And that versatility honestly is so cool, and it really gives you room as a filmmaker to grow. Say if you want to make narratives and mini docs this year, but next year you want to try vlogging, or you want to make travel videos, or something where you'll need a lighter setup. This camera can be all of that, which is so cool. I can shoot with this camera for the next few years and know I won't really be outgrowing it. So